In this piano tutorial, we will be learning the song Yeshua, which is in the key of F sharp major. And like always, I'll be sharing my approach to this song, which includes some passing chords and chord substitutions that hopefully you're able to apply to other songs as well, okay? So let's start off with the basic chords to this song, so that way you have a base, a foundation for the chords, and then we will get into different types of chords that we can use, okay? So this song starts off on the 6. My beloved is, right? 6th chord. Then it goes to the 4. The most beautiful amongst one, right? 1 chord. And then the 5. And then this progression repeats again, right? That's a very popular progression that most of us probably already know, right? 6. The most beautiful. Now this 5 chord can also be substituted for a 3 chord, right? I've heard people play it as a 5 or a 3, right? So the 3 would be this B flat minor 7 or A sharp minor 7, right? So my B. If we play the 3, it would sound like this. Right, so after this first progression, the second and actually the final progression of the song is this one, right? It goes into the part that says Yeshua, and we start on the 4. Yeshua, 4, 5, and then we go to the 6. And then we play a 3 chord, right? Another simple progression. And the good thing about having these simple progressions is that we're able to experiment with the melody and the type of chords that we can use, right? Which we'll be doing next, okay? So once again, Yeshua, 4, 4, 5, 6, and then the 3. Right, so those are the basic chords to the song. So let's go back into the beginning, which started on the 6, and let's figure out what we can do to these chords to expand upon them, right? So we started off on the 6th chord, and the way that I'm voicing this 6th chord is as a minor 7 chord, but pay attention to my left hand. Most of the times when we're learning how to play keys, we tend to get stuck playing these octaves, or even a single note, but there's a bunch more that we can do with our left hand. For example, in this case, I'm playing a drop 2 voicing, or you can think excuse me, you can think about it as a 1, 5, and the 10th of the chord, right? And this sort of fills out the frequency of the piano, right? Gives us a low end, a mid, and some of the highs. So, and then my right hand, all I'm doing is playing an F sharp in first inversion. And when I combine this F sharp in first inversion with a D sharp or E flat, I get this E flat minor 7. Also, other things we can do, right? Apart from the minor 7th as an extension, we can make it a minor 9th by adding the 9th, right? The 9th is this F. We get this sort of dissonant type of sound. Since it's in the lower register, right? I tend to just leave it out, and I substitute it instead for 11th, which is this G sharp or A flat. Right? So my beloved is the most beautiful. Now for this 4 chord. One of the things that I always say is maintain the melody, right? So the melody is actually on this F sharp. If we do the melody, my beloved is the most beautiful, right? Beautiful. It lands on the 4. So I'm keeping this F sharp up top, but the way that I'm voicing this 4 chord is as a major 9 chord, right? But there's actually something we can do right before we play this 4 chord, right? Which is using the secondary dominant. And all this means is that I'm going to use the 5th of the destination chord. So I'm going from the 6 to the 4. So the 4 is my destination. So I use the 5th of this 4, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, F sharp, as a passing chord. Now the voicing that we use for this F sharp most of the times is going to be a dominant voicing, right? So an F sharp 7 or F sharp dominant. And I like voicing it as a 9 or a 13 type of chord, right? And the way to figure out this voicing is, all I do is, the way that I personally think about it, right, is I play the root, the dominant 7th or minor 7th, and then I play the 3rd, and from the 3rd I just go up a 4th and up another 4th, right? And we can actually add this note right here to maintain the melody, right? So let's see how this sounds in context. My beloved is the most beautiful, right? So I use this F sharp as a passing chord to get to the B, okay? So once again, my beloved is the most beautiful. Now, there's actually another passing chord that we can use, right? There's always going to be an extra passing chord that we can use in between the chords. So I just thought about this right now, right? We're playing the 6. We can use the 7 to get to the 1, right? So I'm using a passing chord, which I voice as the C sharp over F, to get to the next passing chord, which is going to lead me to the 4. So my beloved is the most beautiful. Now from here, the next chord is going to be a 1, but I'm actually going to use the 2 as a substitution for the 4 that we already have, right? Most of the times in many songs, we can easily substitute the 2 for the 4, or the 4 for the 2, right? So, my beloved is the most beautiful, right? So I'm playing this A flat minor 11, which is the 2, but I'm voicing it with this C sharp up here, only to maintain the melody of the song. So, the most beautiful amongst thousands. Then we go to the 1 and thousands. Now the next chord, in this case I'm going to play a 3, but I'm voicing it slightly different, right? Usually when we play a 3 chord, we play a 5 over 3 to get that minor 7 sound. But in this case, all I'm doing is adding an extra note, which is the 1, right? This F sharp. Gives me that sort of CCM dissonant type of sound, right? So this is a good substitution that we can use for the 3. So amongst thousands, da, da, my beloved is. Now you see what I did there? I included a diminished chord to go back to the 6th chord, right? And I've explained this in other videos as well. When we want to get to a minor chord or even a major chord, by using a diminished chord, all we have to do is, right, we have the destination, I guess root note of the destination chord, which is E flat or D sharp. All we do is go down a half step. So that's going to be our lowest note, right? And from here, we just go up in 3 half steps, right? So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Or we can even go up by just playing a tritone, right? I guess that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 notes. And we can just experiment with that, with different configurations for this chord, right? So we were here amongst thousands and thousands, my beloved is. Now in this case, this B flat or A sharp is not part of the D diminished seventh, right? But I'm playing it because it's part of the melody. So my beloved is. Now there's actually another passing chord that we can use right before the diminished chord, right? So right before we play this chord to get to the 6, we can actually play this chord, right? Now it appears as a C minor 7 flat 5, flat 13. It's a little bit weird. All I'm doing is actually just playing an A flat 9 without the root note, right? So we have this A flat 7 and I'm adding the 9th and I'm just moving the keys around, right? I'm moving this A flat up here and I'm moving the 5th up here, right? So my, and if we want to maintain the melody in this case, we can add the A flat up here. My beloved is the most beautiful, right? Amongst thousands and thousands, my beloved, right? We also have different possibilities. We can even do a 7-3-6 progression, right? In this case, I'm playing the 7 as an F7 altered chord. Right? It's a little bit weird, but if you break down this chord, it's actually just a C sharp major, right? Over an F with an F dominant, basically, right? F, the minor 7th, and the major 3rd, right? We get that F7 under this C sharp. So my B, right? And this B flat 7, it's basically the same D diminished 7th chord that we did before, only that I'm adding this B flat down here. So my beloved is, right? Another passing chord. So that's the good thing about these chords, is that we can always add an extra passing chord, and all I'm doing again is using secondary dominants, right? So remember how I said I substituted the 2, I substituted the 4 for a 2. Instead of going directly from the 4 to the 2, I played a secondary dominant on E flat, right? So that's how I got this chord to land on the 2. So once again, my beloved is the most beautiful, right? Amongst thousands and thousands. And we're still on that first progression of the song, right? A 4-chord progression, and we've been able to include many different changes, different chords, different harmonies to this song, right? But let's move on into the next part of the song, right? Again, the progression 4, 5, 6, and then the 3. Right, very easy progression. What can we do here, right? The voicings that I'm using are practically the same, right? Yeshua. In this case, a B major add 2. We can make it a major 9 chord as well. So Yeshua. But there's something here, including secondary dominants once again, that I'm going to do. It's a progression to get from the 4 all the way to the 6, right? So the way that I do this is I start on the 4, Yeshua, and also keep in mind I'm going to try to maintain the melody as well. So that's going to determine the voicings of these next chords. Yeshua, Right, so I included like 5 extra chords to get to the 6th chord. So let's break it down. I started off on the 4. Then I went up a half step to the C7 sharp 9, right? It's an alter chord basically. Then the next chord I play was this F7 flat 9, and another alter chord. And then the 3 chord that we did before to finally get to the 6, right? And we're basically going around the circle of fourths, which is sort of the theory behind the secondary dominants, right? So we started off on the 4, then we went up to C, then we went up to the 4th of C, which is F, right? The only thing that varies is the voicing of the chords, right? So C, F, then the 4th of F, which is B flat, and finally the 4th of B flat, which is E flat, in this case minor. And a substitution that I like doing here, instead of playing the 6 to the 3 again, I actually like going to the 1, right? It's slightly different, so I play it in this way, right? So Yeshua, 2, and then I go to the 1 instead of going to the 3 directly from the 4, right? So directly from the 6, sorry. So I play Yeshua, right? I do the progression, then I go to the 6, and then I play a 2, and instead of going to the 3, I go down to the 1. And it gives us a slightly different harmony, but we're still maintaining the melody up here, so it works out, okay? Then we can go back to that first progression. My Okay, so what I want to do now is play the whole song without any interruptions, and I'll include a MIDI file of this section of the video. That way you can download it down from the description, okay?